England play Ghana tomorrow night in the second match of the World Cup, and if they win this game, they're most likely going to finish top of their group, which means a success for England in its own right for the group stages. And it will also mean they can rest a lot of their best players in the next match against Panama. However, I do feel like Declan Rice needs to be dropped for this Ghana game. And the reason to this isn't because I think he's a bad player. The reason to this is because he's a player who looks like he's played over 60 games this season. And that's because he has. Ghana, I think we can all know they're not going to have much of the ball against England. So when it comes for somebody playing in that number 8 position where Declan Rice is, I don't see a reason to risk him when we've got somebody as good as Bellingham who can also play in that position to almost as high a standard. If not, on other days, it could be just as high, if not higher standard than Declan Rice. Declan Rice said it himself in April. He is shattered non-stop. That's how he feels in his body. A player who feels like that, and I don't blame him for that, shouldn't be playing every single minute of a World Cup, shouldn't be starting in every single match of the World Cup, especially in these type of matches where we know we're most likely going to win and we've got Panama next. Let's let him have that rest. So when it comes to the round of 32, where we can't risk not starting him, even if it's against a lesser team, we can start him, but we can also make sure we're getting the absolute best out of Declan Rice when he does start that game. Thomas Tuchel even noticed it against Croatia, and that is why we took him off in the 72nd minute of the game. And that's because Thomas Tuchel said that he noticed Declan Rice was moving with quite some uncomfort. I mean, even as fans, we can tell the lad is absolutely shattered. I still remember now, when he finished that game against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final, the EFL Cup final, he was limping coming off the pitch. And it feels like after every game, he is limping. And that's not him faking it. That's him fighting through pain to play football matches. Thomas Tuchel said it himself. Throughout the Croatia game, he was losing the ball quite unusually like him, and also he was moving with some uncomfort. If Thomas Tuchel thinks that, then Thomas Tuchel should not be starting him against Ghana. Let me know what you think. Do you think Declan Rice should be starting against Ghana, and we should be just making sure we 100% get these 3 points, give ourselves the best chances possible, or should we rest him and trust somebody like Bellingham to play in that number 8 position, and then have somebody like Morgan Rogers play in that 10, and then still hope we beat Ghana? So here is my England starting 11 to play tomorrow night against Ghana. In goal, we've got Jordan Pickford, somebody who I'm not too sure on anymore. He is a fantastic goalkeeper, and he's the best English goalkeeper I've had in my lifetime. However, with the amount of times we want to play on the ball, I really wouldn't be shocked if this is his last World Cup or even tournament for England, and we see somebody as good as James Trafford go and take his position. At right back, I would start Reece James. There is a chance that Jed Spence starts ahead of him, and the reason to this is just, again, managing minutes. However, Reece James, throughout this season, has been relatively fit. He has come back from a hamstring injury recently. However, under Thomas Tuchel, he's such a crucial player to how any of his teams play. So I want to see him start. At centre-back, I have not been a big fan of John Stones this last game either. I think out of both the centre-backs, Konza and John Stones, was a bit worrying for me. I also think if any game proved to any English football fan how important Guehi is, it would have been the last game when he wasn't playing. Guehi has to start. So I'd start Mark Guehi, and I'd also start Ezri Konsa. I think Ezri Konsa is actually very underrated in this England squad. At left back for me, Nico O'Reilly. I don't think there's anyone who's going to really say any different on that. And then, as we mentioned earlier, in the pivot, it's going to be Anderson, who can also bomb up the pitch and he's decent on the ball as well. But also, there is Jude Bellingham instead of Declan Rice, just giving Declan Rice a bit of time to rest before the knockout stages. In the number 10, because Jude Bellingham's not going to be starting there, it's going to be Morgan Rogers, and it's a good chance for somebody like Morgan Rogers to prove himself on the World Cup stage. And against the Ghana side, where they are going to be sitting back, it's going to be quite important. It's going to be quite crucial to us, especially with how agile he is in tight spaces and how good he is shooting from outside of the box. On the right-hand side, if Saka's fit enough to start, I don't mind starting him, as he didn't play in the last game very much. But At the same time, there's no reason not to start Madueke if Saka's not 100% fit, ready to go. At striker, Harry Kane, obviously. And on the left, it's going to be Marcus Rashford for me. I was very torn between him and Anthony Gordon, but I think the last game against Croatia really showed the technical difference between somebody like Marcus Rashford and then almost a workhorse like Anthony Gordon. It depends what you want to get out of the game, but when a team is sitting deep and we're not going to be able to hit them on the counter as much, we really do want somebody like Marcus Rashford who's got that bit of a technical edge against him. But let me know, who do you think should be in this starting 11? If you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe and like for more daily content.